look, they once worked together a long time ago. They're not friends now. They don't like each other. And yeah, 50 has taken every shot, especially when Diddy has been down on the documentary. I think a lot of people thought that he was just joking around. It turns out he's not. So this is actually a real project that's being made under his G-Unit movie and TV studio.
Breaking now, Diddy's sons have vanished into thin air after 50 Cent's bombshell documentary dropped, with FBI agents circling and arrest warrants reportedly in the works. Could this be the end for the Combs dynasty? The moment Sean Combs. The Reckoning hit Netflix on December 2nd. The fallout was immediate. We've learned that within hours of the docuseries release, Justin Combs and his brothers allegedly went underground, cutting off contact with close associates and leaving insiders to wonder, if they've got nothing to hide, why run? The documentary, executive produced by longtime rival 50 Cent, didn't just rehash old scandals. It unleashed never-before-seen footage of Diddy in the days before his September 2024 arrest, including a chilling phone call with Justin where the embattled mogul rants about fighting back against media propaganda. Now, sources close to the investigation claim the FBI is preparing search warrants based on allegations tied directly to the sons, with whispers that they may have been more than just bystanders in their father's controversial world.
A new Netflix docuseries about Sean Diddy Combs is making headlines for its never-before-seen footage of the music mogul in the days before his arrest. Now, Combs is threatening legal action against the streamer for airing the unauthorized footage. Behind the series is Combs' longtime rap rival 50 Cent and director Alexandria Stapleton.
The timing couldn't be more explosive. Diddy is already serving a 50-month sentence for transportation-related charges, but the documentary's release has reignited the firestorm around his empire. And now, his heirs are caught in the crosshairs. We can see the pattern. The second the film exposed pre-arrest conversations where Diddy tells Justin, "God told me to do nothing, but other people need to do something because this is ridiculous." The family's legal team scrambled. Yet instead of facing the scrutiny head-on, the sons allegedly disappeared, fueling speculation that they're not just avoiding the press, they're evading federal attention. Insiders claim the FBI's interest isn't just about Diddy anymore. It's about what his sons knew, what they filmed, and whether they played a role in the activities that brought down their father. And here's the twist. Diddy himself has been obsessively documenting his life since age 19, stockpiling footage he intended to use for his own narrative. But now, that very habit has backfired spectacularly, with a Netflix legally obtaining clips that allegedly implicate his inner circle, including his children. Meanwhile, the documentary's director, Alexandria Stapleton, isn't done digging. We've learned she's already reached out to Misa Hilton, Diddy's ex and mother of Justin, with offers to develop her own show, potentially spilling more secrets about the family's dynamics. Misa's response? A cryptic Instagram post quoting scripture, "Until they confess all the lies they said against you to gain favor, they'll never know peace." The subtext is impossible to ignore. If Justin and his brothers are on the run, what are they hiding? And who else in hip-hop's elite might get dragged into this?
Does he know y'all have this in the doc?
I would doubt he knows.
So when this airs, that'll be the first time that his legal team, Diddy, that everybody knows that this footage is now seeing the light of day. Perhaps. What was he intending to use it for?
I have no idea what he was doing that for.
I mean...
The Combs empire was built on loyalty, but with federal agents now combing through financial records, private messages, and that infamous trove of self-recorded footage, the question isn't just about Diddy's legacy, it's about whether his sons will be the next dominoes to fall. Let's rewind to the moments before the storm. The documentary opens with Diddy in a hotel room just 6 days before his arrest, frantically strategizing with his attorney, Mark Agnifilo. "We have to find somebody that'll work with us," he demands. "It has to be somebody that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business of media and propaganda." The desperation is palpable, but what's even more telling is the call with Justin 5 days later, where Diddy's tone shifts from defiance to resignation. "God told me to do nothing," he mutters, as if realizing the walls are closing in.
So I think what Diddy was trying to say was, there's nothing to be done legally on the criminal front because no indictment had been dropped yet. But in the court of public opinion, it seemed like he wanted to take a more aggressive approach to put a certain message out there. And his attorney seemed to kind of think the opposite.
Now, fast forward to today. Those same recordings are being dissected by prosecutors, and Justin's sudden silence speaks volumes. Why would a man with nothing to fear go dark the second the public sees his father pleading for a lifeline? Sources familiar with the family suggest the sons were warned, either by legal teams or their own instincts, that the documentary's claims about their involvement in private gatherings and financial dealings could trigger serious legal exposure. And if the FBI is indeed prepping warrants, the clock is ticking. But here's where the story takes a darker turn. The documentary doesn't just focus on Diddy's downfall. It alleges that his sons were complicit in maintaining the culture of secrecy around his controversial lifestyle. We're talking about accusations of luring individuals under false pretenses, questions about their roles in managing properties where questionable activities allegedly took place, and even whispers of their own participation in events that are now under federal scrutiny. One lawsuit filed in Los Angeles just last month accuses Justin of using his father's fame to attract a young woman to LA under the promise of a career opportunity, only for her to allegedly endure a harrowing ordeal at a Beverly Hills property. The complaint describes masked figures, coercion, and a weekend she claims she was held against her will. While Diddy's team has denied the allegations, calling them meritless, the timing is damning. The suit dropped as the documentary's release loomed, and now Justin is nowhere to be found. And then there's Christian Combs, Diddy's 26-year-old heir apparent, who's facing his own legal storm. A separate lawsuit accuses him of inappropriate conduct during a yacht excursion in late 2022, an event chartered by his father that allegedly devolved into a hedonistic environment. Audio recordings, included in the filing, appear to capture Christian pressuring a crew member to consume substances and ignoring her repeated refusals. "You don't touch my legs like that," she's heard saying before the situation escalates. The suit claims she was later cornered and assaulted, with bruising documented in medical reports. Christian's legal team has called the allegations lewd and meritless, but the pattern is undeniable. Wherever the Combs name appears, legal trouble follows.
Absolutely. My name is Big Homie.cc, former celebrity bodyguard, 16 years. I converted my business to protecting women and children, combating human trafficking. Last year, we brought on 17 missing women, 4 children, 3 girls, 1 boy. So yeah.
With federal agents already having searched Diddy's properties in March and reportedly finding weapons, substances, and thousands of bottles of products linked to his infamous gatherings, the question isn't just about Diddy's guilt. It's about whether his sons were active participants in a lifestyle that's now under a microscope. Behind the scenes, the family is fracturing. Diddy's mother, Janice Combs, and his son Christian are reportedly locked in a bitter battle over control of the $400 million empire, a fight that's only intensified as the legal noose tightens. Janice thinks she's the best person to step in, an insider told In Touch. But Christian is just as determined to take the reins. Meanwhile, Misa Hilton's potential tell all could blow the lid off decades of carefully guarded secrets. If she speaks, and if the sons stay silent, the narrative shifts from Diddy's crimes to a family conspiracy of silence. And with 50 Cent's documentary already sparking new lawsuits, federal inquiries, and a wave of former associates coming forward, the Combs name is no longer just a brand. It's a liability. But here's what we're not being told yet. If Justin and his brothers are truly on the run, what did they see, or do, that's so explosive it's worth abandoning their lives? The documentary hints at hidden footage, unreleased recordings, and a network of associates who've stayed loyal for decades. And with the FBI reportedly zeroing in on financial transactions, property records, and communications between the sons and their father, the next domino could fall at any moment. One thing's certain, Diddy built his empire on control of narratives, of people, of the truth. But now, the truth is slipping through his fingers, and his sons might be the ones holding the final pieces. The question is no longer if more shoes will drop, it's when, and who they'll crush on the way down. And as we've seen with the sudden offers to Misa, the leaked audio, and the vanished heirs, this story is far from over. In fact, the most damaging revelations might still be locked in someone's phone or waiting in the next federal indictment. The pattern is impossible to ignore. Just as Diddy was caught on tape in those final frantic days before his arrest, demanding a media fixer who could handle the dirtiest of dirty business, his sons now appear to be following the same playbook, vanishing when the heat turns up, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and conveniently timed silence.
So, a lot of things in Hollywood are ritualistic for sure. And if you pay close attention to it, you can see it. When you see somebody holding up this like this, with the 2 fingers close like this, that's the hand sign of the Baphomet. You know, they do say Luciferianism is real.
We've seen this before. The moment legal pressure mounts, the Combs men retreat into the shadows, whether it's Diddy holing up in his mansion as raids loomed or Justin cutting off contact the second the documentary dropped. But this time, the stakes are higher. Insiders claim the sons aren't just hiding from the press. They're dodging subpoenas, shielding assets, and possibly even protecting witnesses tied to allegations that stretch back decades. One former associate who worked with the family in the mid-2010s told us off the record that Justin and his brothers were never just bystanders. They were the enforcers, the ones who made sure things stayed quiet. And if the FBI is indeed closing in, their disappearance starts to look less like panic and more like strategy. Here's where the story gets even murkier. Netflix stands by their documentary, insisting all footage was obtained legally, including those damning pre-arrest recordings of Diddy plotting his media counterattack. But Diddy's team fires back, calling it stolen and a hit piece bankrolled by 50 Cent's vendetta. The contradiction is glaring. If the footage is legitimate, then the son's sudden flight looks like guilt. If it's stolen, then who leaked it? And what else might they have? Sources familiar with the investigation suggest the FBI isn't just interested in the documentary's claims. They're digging into whether the Combs family obstructed justice by bribing witnesses, altering records, or even destroying evidence.
He sort of talked to me about the schedule for the day. He explained the important rules. He explained count time, because they have to, look, the jail's main 2 things. They can't lose you and they can't kill you. So they have to, count you, and they count you twice a day, actually 3 times a day.
You go to your bunk?
Yeah, you go to your bunk. At night, they'll come, you can be laying down, and in the morning, you can be laying down, but once a day, twice a day.
Remember, this is the same family that allegedly paid off a driver $50,000 to take the fall for a weapon back in the 90s. If that's the playbook, what's to stop them from repeating it now? And with civil lawsuits piling up, each one alleging everything from coercion to violent encounters, the Sun's silence isn't just suspicious. It's a red flag waving in the wind. But the real bombshell might be buried in the past. The documentary doesn't just rehash Diddy's legal troubles. It revives one of hip-hop's darkest unsolved mysteries, the passing of Shakur. Dwayne Keffy D. Davis, a former gang associate, claims Diddy offered him $1 million for a hit on Shakur back in 1996. Davis is set to stand trial in 2026, and his proffer agreement with police, where he allegedly confessed under duress, is now front and center in the documentary. Here's the kicker. If Davis's claims are true, and if Diddy was involved, what did his sons know? Justin was just a teenager in the 90s, but Christian and the others grew up in that world. Former Bad Boy Records co-founder Kirk Burroughs doesn't mince words in the doc, flat out stating he believes Diddy had a lot to do with the passing of Shakur. Now, imagine if federal investigators start pulling threads from that era. Phone records, old conversations, maybe even footage stashed away in one of Diddy's infamous archives. The sons wouldn't just be answering for their father's recent crimes. They'd be dragged into a conspiracy that's haunted hip-hop for nearly 30 years. And let's talk about the money. Diddy's empire was built on more than just music. It was built on control. Control of narratives, of people, of the truth. But now, that control is slipping. With the family fortune estimated at $400 million, the fight over who takes the reins isn't just a power struggle. It's a survival game.
For all sorts of reasons, Donald Trump feels that he was unfairly targeted by the Justice Department, and particularly the Southern District of New York.
Sure.
And so, in Diddy's case, he is was prosecuted by the Southern District of New York.
Janice Combs, Diddy's mother, thinks she's the rightful steward, but Christian, the eldest at 26, isn't backing down. Insiders describe a full-on showdown, with tensions so high that some fear the infighting could expose even more secrets. Meanwhile, Misa Hilton's potential tell all looms like a guillotine. If she starts talking, really talking, about the early days of Bad Boy, the parties, the deals, the cover-ups, what happens to the sons who were raised in that world? One industry veteran put it bluntly, if Misa flips, it's over for all of them. She knows where the bodies are buried, literally and figuratively. The deeper we dig into the Combs family's sudden disappearance, the more one unsettling question emerges. Is this evasion a learned behavior passed down like a dark heirloom from Diddy himself? Sources close to the family describe a household where paranoia wasn't just encouraged. It was a survival tactic. Diddy's obsession with filming every moment of his life, from boardroom deals to late-night gatherings, wasn't just about vanity. It was about control. And now, his sons seem to be mirroring that same instinct, not with cameras, but with silence. Insiders claim Justin and his brothers grew up watching their father outmaneuver scandals by any means necessary, whether through legal threats, payoffs, or simply vanishing when the pressure mounted. One former Bad Boy employee who worked with the family in the early 2000s told us the sons were raised to see the world as a chessboard, where every move had to be calculated to avoid checkmate. If that's the case, their current disappearance isn't just fear, it's strategy. But here's the twist. What if the strategy backfires?
But they don't know the lingo, like if they're not paying attention to the music to understand that there's a problem getting ready to take place.
Are you in game? You think your relationship is repairable?
The same paranoia that kept Diddy one step ahead of the law for decades might now be the very thing that traps his sons in a corner they can't escape. Then there's the money. Because in the Combs empire, power has always been measured in dollars, not just influence. Financial records obtained by investigators allegedly show a flurry of activity in the weeks before the documentary's release, with millions quietly shifted between accounts, properties transferred to shell companies, and assets suddenly liquidated. While Diddy's team dismisses this as routine business, insiders whisper about a desperate attempt to shield the family fortune before the FBI could freeze it. The timing is too convenient to ignore. Just as the documentary's explosive claims were set to drop, the sons allegedly began moving pieces on the board, ensuring that even if they went down, the empire wouldn't. But federal agents don't miss patterns like that. If the FBI can prove these transactions were tied to obstruction, say paying off potential witnesses or hiding evidence, the sons wouldn't just be facing civil lawsuits. They'd be staring down federal charges, the kind that don't disappear with a good lawyer or a well-timed settlement. Here's where the story takes its darkest turn. Behind closed doors, there's growing speculation that the Combs brothers aren't united in their silence, that one of them might already be talking.
And what's really going to be interesting is the parade of celebrities who we expect to be mentioned and or called into that courtroom. You know, people who we hadn't heard about prior, like Mike Myers, you know, Austin Powers, Mike Myers. Why is he getting called? Why is he on the witness list? That'll be fascinating. And then, of course, there are the no-name, quote unquote, women who are going to have to find every ounce of courage they have.
The theory goes like this. With the FBI tightening the net, the first son to cooperate gets the best deal. And in a family where loyalty has always been transactional, blood ties might not be enough to hold the line. One legal source familiar with the case put it to us this way: the moment one brother flips, the others become leverage. Imagine the fallout. If Justin, the eldest, cuts a deal to save himself, what does that mean for Christian, for King, for the rest of the dynasty? The documentary hinted at fractures in the family long before the arrests, with Misa Hilton's bitter split from Diddy and the sons' reported resentment over their father's controlling nature. Now, with the walls closing in, those old wounds could turn into full-blown betrayal. The question isn't just whether the sons will talk, it's who will talk first, and what bombshells they'll drop when they do. Because in the end, this isn't just about Diddy's crimes, it's about whether his sons will let the empire burn to save themselves. The documentary's most chilling moments aren't just about Diddy's crimes, they're about the culture of complicity around him. We're talking about allegations of private gatherings where boundaries were erased, where young aspiring stars were allegedly lured with promises of fame, only to find themselves trapped in situations they couldn't escape. And the sons? They weren't just present. They were, according to multiple lawsuits, active participants. One lawsuit accuses Justin of using his father's clout to bring a woman to LA under false pretenses, only for her to allegedly endure a nightmare weekend at a property nicknamed the Glass House. Another suit claims Christian assaulted a crew member on a yacht with audio recordings capturing her pleas for him to stop. The pattern is the same: power, coercion, and then silence, broken only when the victims find the courage to speak. But here's the twist. If the sons were involved in these incidents, what else were they involved in?
And I know you said he explained all of the items that were involved in these Wild King nights. Did he mention who would participate as well?
A lot of them were unknown to him. He did mention that a lot of the women were very, very young as 20, not underage, but certainly young women.
The FBI isn't just looking at recent allegations. They're reportedly combing through decades of financial records, travel logs, and communications. And if the sons start flipping to save themselves, Diddy's entire legacy could unravel overnight. Let's not forget the timing. Diddy is locked up until 2028, but the legal dominoes are falling fast. The racketeering trial is still underway, with closing arguments wrapping up as we speak. Civil lawsuits are stacking up, each one alleging more disturbing behavior. And now, with the documentary fueling public outrage, the pressure on the sons to break their silence is mounting. Will they stay loyal to their father, even as the walls close in? Or will they cut a deal, trading secrets for leniency? One legal analyst we spoke to put it this way: in cases like this, the first one to talk gets the best deal. The question is, who blinks first? And with the FBI reportedly preparing arrest warrants, that blink could come any day now. The silence from the Combs camp is deafening, but one thing's clear: the reckoning is far from over. Diddy built an empire on the idea that he was untouchable, but now, his sons are learning the hard way that no dynasty lasts forever.
Garrett in Washington, we are following breaking news out of New York City. The jury in the Sean Diddy Combs racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking trial has reached a verdict on 4 of the 5 counts.
The documentary was just at the beginning. The lawsuits are the next wave. And if the FBI's rumored arrests become reality, that's the earthquake. So we'll leave you with this. If you were Justin or Christian Combs, what would you do right now? Stay silent and hope the storm passes? Or start talking before someone else does? Drop a comment below, because this story is moving fast, and the next chapter could rewrite hip-hop history forever. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and remember, in the game of power, the truth always finds its way out. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your secrets closer.